So this is the book that I'm talking about today. This is the Checklist Manifesto, How to Get Things Right by Atul Gawande, I'm going to say. I think that's probably about right. I'm not going to do that thing where you say it like 15 different ways and hope that people, hope that you get one right and people forgive you for saying the rest. So what is this book? Genre-wise, this is kind of like informational, but also kind of story-driven. It's factual, so it follows Atul, who is a well, that's just messed it up. There we go. Had it all perfect before. It follows Atul, who is a surgeon, I think. At least that's the impression that you get. I should have done my research on that. But yeah, so he is a surgeon. I can't remember what type of surgeon. But the premise of this book, and one of its biggest complaints, is that it's obvious in the first chapter, or even from the title, that that it's what you're getting from it, basically. It's going to promote the use of checklists. But what even are checklists, and why are they important? And that's what it goes into. So basically, this isn't like a self-help book. This isn't a business book per se. It's like theory on. It's theory, but told through specific stories, and the way it's written, I really enjoyed it. If you go on Goodreads, quite a lot of people complain about how it's kind of predictable. I mean, yeah, I guess it is. It's going to be about checklists, but the thing about these kinds of books is they need to hit that point home. I'm sorry, just in on the fly. Yeah, they need to hit that point home. If you want to get across an idea, the safest way, the most what am I trying to say? The most efficient way to get across an idea is to simply tell someone about it. But that isn't the most efficient way to get someone to follow through on that idea. So, and it's you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. That analogy, that metaphor exists because it's true. It's really difficult to get people to uptake your ideas, and even if they're great ideas. So checklists in this book are a fantastic idea. This book is the first. No, not the first, because there's been a couple of others that are similar to this. But this is one of the most powerful books I've read that has no specific actionable theories given to you, but the story, the telling of this, the idea behind what he's telling you is an actionable thing. So that's a long-winded way of saying that he doesn't tell you that you should use checklists. He just tells you the benefits of checklists, and he tells you that not directly, but through these stories. So what are these stories? Well, the overarching story, which carries through the whole thing, is his appointment to the World Health Organization, WHO, who brought him on because of this crisis almost with surgeries. And so he was tasked with creating creating some way, something that could be implemented that would make surgery safer. the thing that he came up with is a checklist, and that him working through that process is the overarching story of this. I made the potential mistake of reading this book while we were traveling, so I was reading it on the plane, and one of the other industries that he draws from that use checklists really well, really effectively, is aviation. And he talks a lot about crashes and how they are avoided by checklists. And the reason that checklists work, the reason that he posits that checklists work, is because they take the strain off your memory. They take the strain off your brain, basically. I really didn't want to say that because it rhymes, but you've only got a certain amount of bandwidth. I hate that word. You've only got a certain bandwidth is probably the best way to say it. You've only got a certain amount of mental bandwidth that you can devote to a task, even if that is the task that you are focusing on. And so one of the early stories he talks about in aviation is this really, really complicated plane, and its first flight, it takes off and something goes wrong and it crashes. And they just decided, because no one was using a checklist on this, but the pilot was a heavily decorated pilot, plenty of flight hours, and he was unable to fly this plane. So they were like, this plane is unflyable, we are cancelling our order for it, and we're going to go with like this other plane. But some test pilots decided that actually we can probably fly this. The thing that he got wrong was just because he had so much to do, he forgot one of these things. And so implementing this checklist takes that need to remember every single thing from the pilot. So these aren't to-do lists. This isn't what this book is about. It's not about the list of things that you write out in the morning that needs to be actioned that day. This isn't what this is. Which is what I thought it was when I first heard about this book. I honestly thought it was like, oh, you should use to-do lists because then you'll be able to sort stuff out easier. Whatever. It's not. It's about checklists, which are these things that you work from. Forgive me for seeming patronising at this point, because it kind of will sound that way, but because we know what a checklist is, but it's, in essence, they are a set of reminders for a task that we repeat often. And why I initially said that this book is really actionable is because I am actually putting checklists now into facets of my work that I struggle with. Why am I using so many big words? I'm sorry, guys. I feel like I'm making this purposefully obscure, more big words. So I'm reading too many books. So I've got some things coming up. One is so this isn't work, but this is like YouTube work. I'm doing an interview series, and there are so many moving parts in that. Did I forget to send the talking points over? Did I forget to tell them where they need to come to? Is all my gear charged up? Is it all, am I going to be forgetting to dump my cards and things like that afterwards? There's so many things that go into it. Yeah, I can probably remember most of these, and 9 times out of 10, all the important ones will be remembered, and nothing bad will happen. But then, what if I forget to wipe the cards, or something important on them? I'm like, oh no, I can't delete these. I've got no cards. One camera ends up not being used. That is a big deal because at this point I'm wasting someone else's time. And so I've not typed these up yet, but that is the intention. Sorry, I keep looking over here because my computer's over here, and I'm not just being rude. So this can also work for jobs. I job comes in. There's a checklist there that is going to be just just the things that I need to do. I need to send over these specific details. I need to make sure that they sign a contract. I need to get the deposit up front, things like that. They're not likely going to be things I forget, but just having these by my side is going to take that mental stress away. I'm not going to have to think, oh, right, what do I need to do now? What have I forgot? What? Similarly, probably one of the most important ones is getting ready for a shoot. Especially something that involves multiple cameras, lights. Is it going to be shot using my recorder? Do I need to bring hard drives? What light stands? What packs up? Having the checklist that's like, right, light stands, like lights. So if I'm taking lights, I look at the light checklist and I go, have I got that? Have I got that? Have I got the plug? Have I got the extension cable? Things like that just take that away, because the amount of times I forgot one little tiny thing that goes along with a shoot is just like, and it's only annoying. It's like, it means that I have to tape something on somewhere instead of like actually having a proper mount, because I forgot the mount at home. Oh, I can't use my words today. And that's what he's drumming into you in this book. But he doesn't do it, like I've said, he doesn't do it in a way that's like, you should be implementing checklists because this, and this. He tells you these stories. He tells you the story of how skyscrapers are built and how there's checklists that, they aren't complicated checklists. They're like, do the work and then look back, reference this checklist, have a look at it. Did you do everything on this? If you did, great. Or a problem's occurred. These steels that we ordered don't fit the right way. Look at the emergency checklist. Like, is there a procedure? Who do I contact? And if there's not, then we have to do like a conference call, and we have to speak to everyone, make sure everyone's in agreement, and it creates like it just creates like a system that just helps you out. You never have to then worry so much about things going wrong, because you know what to do when they go wrong. No one's flapping, no one's worrying, no one's panicking, because you followed the checklist. The steel that got ordered the wrong size is going to get sorted. It's going to get fixed. It'll probably get fixed quicker. And so that taking that stress away is what he's selling to you in this book. But he writes really well, and so it's a surprisingly easy book to kind of get engrossed in, because it's a story. There's multiple stories, and I like the way that he uses the narrative, the overarching narrative, but then with like little spin-off stories in there. So you're not having to rely on being kept interested about the bigger story, because these snippet chapters, these little bits, help tell you little additional details without it feeling forced. And because of all this, I highly recommend this book. You can pick it up at the moment on Amazon for like just over £6 in the UK, obviously. I don't know if anyone else uses pounds, but you'll get a lot from it, I think. One of the things he talks about as well, another industry, is the trading industry, the investment industry, and how checklists in that like no one wants to accept them, no one wants to bring them in, but they are succeeding. They are doing amazing things for the people who do use them. One thing I'd liken it to is there's an episode of 99% Invisible about basketball and about like the granny throw, which is like the, throwing like that instead of like. And even though it's more effective for almost everyone, people don't use it because they don't want to be seen using it. And I think checklists are like that for a lot of people, especially people who are like, I'm really smart, I don't need a checklist. Well, do you know what? If people like Warren Buffett need a checklist, you should probably think about using a checklist. That's not what this video is about. This video is about this book, but I do think I'm going to do a video about the checklists that I create for my business, because this book has really sold me on the idea. I'm quite forgetful. I rely on organisation a lot. I rely on things being labelled. I rely on boxes being in the right place with the right things in. And so a checklist is just like the next step to that, I think. So yeah, this book is a high recommend from me. I've gone back to that. I've gone back to my sort of scientific. It's not 5 stars. It's not like out of 5. It's a percentage. It's out of 100. This book drew me in, kept me interested. I read it really quickly. It's got these actionable things from it, that I've got from it. I can't really see anything wrong with this book. I understand other people's criticisms about it being obvious within the first chapter that checklists are great and they're really important, but I don't agree with that, because I think a lot of the time you need that information just pushing on you a little bit more. So I don't agree with the criticisms. It was a great read. I'm going to give this might be the highest rating I've given a book, but I'm going to give it like a 92%. That's 92% for me, which doesn't leave much room for improvement. I don't know what he could have done to improve it, but that's where I'm going with it. So thank you for watching, if you did. Let's see. One watcher. We've got one watcher. That is possibly because it's pre-lunchtime on a Friday. But this is the only time I have to film this, and I wanted to film Am I back? I'm potentially back. I'm going to keep talking. Hopefully this has worked. I think you may have just got to see behind the lot. So That's me with the LUT applied. That's me without the LUT applied. Just a little bit behind the scenes there for you. So yeah, complicated setup. Working this in around work. There's no way I'm getting to do it this evening. I wanted to do it on Tuesday. Couldn't do it on Tuesday. It's working. Just so much stuff going on. I really don't want to let these slip because I enjoy doing it. I like talking. So that's why it's a stupid time. Hopefully, you actually watching this in the reruns of it. And yeah, if you want to check out more stuff, you want to know about these coming up, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Hopefully you like this video. I mean, go for it. Give me if you're gonna give me a thumbs down though, tell me why. Tell me sweet little whys, and I'll see you next time.